Hey guys, what's up, Karnagi here, and today I'm here with another Digimon deck profile. I apologize for the recent lack of uploads. It's just been a really busy month for me, so I haven't had time to play test or make videos. But here I am with Jesmon deck. The deck is super fun. There's a lot of ways to build this deck, and this is just one of the ways to build it. It's kind of a reference for you guys if you guys want to try to build a deck with all the new support, but definitely not the go-to build, I guess. Not the one true build for you guys to win all tournaments. It really depends on what your meta's like. But let's get right into the deck first. So the Digimon is running 4 Gankoomons, so this just gives you extra 1k power if you have two or more of the Digimons on the field, just to help you boost up your numbers by a bit. The other option you can run is there's all of other options you can run. Really up to you guys. Digimons are flexible, so we're gonna go with that. But a lot of times you will have more than two or more Digimon on the board, so very easy to fulfill those conditions. Now let's go on to the main deck. So for level 7s, we're running 2 of the Jesmon GX Generation Next. That was a bad joke, but we're running 2 Jesmon GX just because this card is searchable, and it is one of your main win cons, but you do want to have a nice stack before you go into this. And basically what he does is, on evolution, you can put a Royal Knight card from your trash or hand to this card's source. It has to be 13 cost or less, which everything in this deck is. And then you'll be able to activate one of your Royal Knight's abilities on evolution abilities from your stack, and then you can also get Blitz. And then the other skill is on either player's turn, if you have for each Royal Knight source you have on your underneath this card, you get piercing and blocker, which doesn't really matter how many you have, but the one that does matter is your security checks. So for example, if you have two Royal Knights underneath this card, you'll get 2 extra security checks, which is really good, and definitely one of the reasons why it is a win con. If your opponent can't get rid of it, then it's going to be GG. So yeah, very nice. Next, we are running 2 of the Start Deck Jesmon. So this is the one from ST12. I was running only 1 before, but I felt like I needed more of these just to get a little bit more damage in the events that I can't go into my Jesmon GX. Mainly because when he attacks, you can play a Sistermon from your hand, and then once something is played by an ability, you get the extra security check, so you get at least 2. And since this deck is not running the Memory Tamers, the Blitz really does help you get that damage in. So yeah, that's why we're running 2. These are your 2 main attackers in the deck. The other stuff in here is mainly to help you build out your stack or stop your opponent from doing too many shenanigans. Jesmon is not like how you played it back in PD6, where you just build a stack, swing for game. We don't have access to 4 Saber Huckmons from PD6 anymore, so we kind of have to make it a little bit slower, which is a problem in this current format because there is a lot of really fast decks in this format. But there are ways to play against it, and we'll talk about that later. So next we're running 1 Jesmon X Antibody. We're mainly running this so that we can use him with Jesmon GX's ability. He's one of the main abilities you want to copy, because you'll get the ability to attack over opponent's unsuspended Digimon, and you can play Sistermon for free. Obviously, this is not the only option. We also have other options like Gankoomon GX. Not GX, Gankoomon X Anybody, which has blocker, which is not that important, but his second ability is very important. It's on evolution, you can play a Sistermon from your hand or trash, and then maybe got Gankoomon or Sistermon, Gankoomon in source or Sistermon in the field. Then until the end of the opponent's turn, all your Digimon get plus 2,000 power, and then they cannot be returned to deck, and they cannot have their DP minus, which is very important. They aren't pop proof, so if they have Gaia Force or something, they can still delete it, but I think the main thing is the DP minus, because there is still Wyvern's Breath running around, so having DP minus negated is very important, and it's protection that you want to keep your Jesmon alive. So yeah, in events that your opponent is playing a deck with destruction, we have the Sistermon Black that can decoy, so not too big of a problem, but yeah, we want to cover all our bases, and that's why we're running 2 of these. We're also running 2 of the start deck Jesmon, not Jesmon, Gankoomons. This card's also really good. On evolution, you can play either a Hakmon or a card with Sistermon in its name for free. So this card is special in the way that you can play the Searcher Hakmon from your trash for free, which is very good because you can search out your combo pieces and whatnot. And yeah, the other ability is to Digivolve your opponent, 2 of your opponent's Digimon by 1, if you play a Digimon with an ability. So also kind of good in this current format. Your opponent's going to have most of your opponents will probably be playing either Metal Greymon, Blue Flare, or Shoutmon, and I think Venusmon is also in there somewhere, but mainly it's the Shoutmon and the Blue Flare decks out there, so the Digivolving them will hinder them a bit, but they have ways to retrieve their cards, but better than nothing. For the level 5s, we are going to be running 1 of the BT6 Saber Hakmon. For obvious reasons, we only have we're only allowed to run 1, so we're running the 1. Why is it not focusing? There we go, 1. And we're also running 4 of the ST Saber Hakmons. This one also gives you the ability to attack unsuspended Digimon, so Jesmon X Antibody isn't the only option we have. And you want to use this ability to also call Sistermons on the field. Also pretty key to play 2 Sistermons in 1 turn so that you can potentially go into Chimeramon and then go into another level 6. So the other level 5s we're running is Chimeramon. Debating to actually bump this up by 1 more, but I think 2 is a pretty good number for now. You don't want to, because he's not searchable, so he's not super good, but when you do have it in hand, you can either go for extra damage, or you can just draw cards into this one and then go into another level 6, which is really good. Level 5, for level 4s, we are running 3 of each of the Bao Hakmons. Running these because these are searchable. Obviously, your Greymon is going to be the better evolution source, but I'll take, you know, searchable level 4s in a deck that's already has consistency issues. With all the search power and all the draws, you do brick less in with this deck now. There's just so many ways to search, so it does help the deck a lot. But we are running 2 of the Greymon from start deck 1 anyway, because you do want to have the extra damage in case you are going to Chimeramon. You want to have a good card to plug into source. Greymon's pretty good, and yeah, it doesn't have a color restriction, so you will be able to get the extra security check even if you go into Gankoomon. Alright, next let's move on to the level 3s. We're going to be running 4 Hakmon from BT6. This just lets you search your deck. It's still one of the best searches in the game, in my opinion, just because it helps you search for Hakmon, Jesmon, and Sistermons. And if you top 5, you have all of them are Hakmon, Jesmon, or Sistermons, you can just grab any 2, which is really good. He's not as good as before now because we are running Gankoomons, and Gankoomon is not searchable with this card. But yeah. Next, we are running 3 Hakmons from the start deck 12. This slot is flexible. You can run the Battle Pack Hakmon that has a security ability, or you can also run the 4-cost one. The 4-cost one is not as good now, in my opinion, but I think this card is pretty good because you are spamming a lot of Sistermons. So if you have this on the field, for example, if you play this with your Gankoomon and then you go into the Gankoomon X Antibody and play another Sistermon. You can pretty much get it for free, which is pretty good. Or you can go into your, pretty much go into your Gankoomon for free, X Antibody for free. Alright, next for the level 3, this is running a Sistermon. This card is super key in this current format. If you're not playing in a meta where there is a lot of Digicross, you can cut this out for another Hakmon, but right now if you're playing in a very competitive format where a lot of people are playing X Antibody, not X Antibody, Digicross, Blue Flare, Shoutmon, or Dark Knightmon, this card is definitely going to save you a lot of times, especially since this deck is slower than those decks, so you want to have a way to slow them down as well, and this is one of the ways to do it. It is an inconvenience for them, but they do have ways to get rid of it, but at least we have one of the answers to them. So running this, if you don't like this card, again, you can switch out for Hakmon, but I recommend running this if you are playing in a format with a lot of Digicross decks. Alright, next let's go on to the level 4s. Sorry, not level 4s, the Sistermons. Running 2 Sistermon Noir. I was running this at 3, but I wanted to run an extra CL, so I cut her down to 2. Her memory gain is very good, and also the power boost is pretty good, but I do really want to have more consistency, so I'm running 2 of her instead of 3. If you don't mind having a little bit of consistency issues, you guys can bump this back up to 3, so they can run less of the other Sistermons. But for me, 2 is good for now. Next, running one of the Sistermon Noir. This is here to give you reboot. Reboot is good because your Gankoomon X Antibody has blocker, but it doesn't have a way to unsuspend itself. So if you are playing against someone and you want to stall it out, having these 2 cards on the field will help you kind of stall it out. And since he can't be DB deduced, they will have to either pass their turn or they'll have to find some other way to get rid of it. So pretty good. And she also helps you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and grab a Hakmon or Royal Knight. So also pretty good. It helps you pile your trash so that you can have fuel for your Jesmon GX to slot things in, as well as discarding other Sistermons so you can play them for trash. Next, we're running 2 Sistermon CL. So this card is the new, she's new, and she's very important actually. So you can either, there's a few ways you can use her. You can either use her by playing from hand and then just digivolving into something. So basically where her skills is on play, you can digivolve a Royal Knight card, digivolve into a Royal Knight card by paying its cost, evolution cost. So you still have to pay it, but even if it passes turn, you can still go into your big boss monster. So she's pretty good for that. And then her other skill is whenever a Hakmon or a Royal Knight digivolves, you can get +1 memory, so it kind of helps you reduce the cost by 1, which is very good in this build. Next, we're running 2 Sistermon Blanc. So on play, you can discard a card and draw 2 cards, which just help you filter your hand. And then she has delay for red and black, which everything in this deck is. So you can protect yourself from cards that pop you. Mainly being those secure control decks that are running cards that can just directly delete you. This card's here for that. If they're running DP deduction instead, then you're gonna have to go into the Gankoomon GX, or just Gankoomon X Antibody. But yeah, this is an option. You can cut this down to 1 if you want to run more Noir. But I think 2 is nice. Just because she's 3 cost to play, so if you are bricking, you can just ditch something to draw 2 and unbrick yourself. Next, we are running 2 of the Sistermon Blanc from PT6. So this is here for you to give your Sistermon blocker, and on play you're going to draw 1. So she's actually not as good as before, so I'm actually debating if I just want to cut her down to 1. But yeah, I think the on play draw 1 is still pretty good. One of the problems I had before with the new Sistermons is that they help you mill a lot. So if you're playing against a deck that stalls a lot, like Security Control or Yellow Hybrid, then you're going to deck out. But drawing that one is going to help you increase your hand size, but not by too much, or not thinning your deck out too much. So we're running these like that. And last but not least, we're running one Sistermon Blank Awakened. This is help you recover. She's not really here for the recovery though. She's here for the second ability, which is on deletion. Besides Sistermon Blank Awaken, you can grab a Sistermon or a Huckmon or a Jesmon card back to your hand. So this is just to help you grab cards back to your hand. So yeah, I think a lot of people choose not to run her, but I think running one is fine. We have enough Sistermon Blanc in order for her to be useful. And the recovery one is actually a lot better than a lot of people might make it out to be. So I'm just going to run out one. So that's pretty much all the Digimon in the deck. Now let's go over the options. Running one dedicated plan just because in case we don't have the Sistermon, or running against a really weird black deck that can de-digivolve you, or do some other thing, we can still just rush in without any worries. So running one. And for the other options, we're just running the option from the start deck that helps you search for Sistermon, Huckmon, or Royal Knights. So this is searchable, and it does mill, so you gotta be careful if you're playing against a deck that can stall a lot. But the cost reduction that the delay gives you is also very good. I think the 2 cost is just super value, which is why I'm not running any red memory boost. I was running it before, but I don't really have space for it now, and there are a lot of cards that red memory boost can't search for in this build, so I decided to cut it out and just run 4 from Master Disciple instead. But that's pretty much it for this build. It's a super fun deck to play. There's a lot of ways to build this deck, so definitely this is just kind of a template or a reference for you guys. If you guys want to explore and innovate, you guys can feel free to do so. I think there's like a blue or yellow Royal Knight deck running around that also uses Jesmon GX, so I think it's super interesting. But I think Jesmon is the way to go with this deck, just because we have Gankoomon, which is really good now because it can't evolve from red, and the digivolving is actually very, very important in the current meta. And yeah, again, if you guys have a different group of players in your area that are running very weird decks, then there's a lot of ways you guys can kind of mess around with the build. But for me, this is working out pretty well. It's if they don't have a way to stop your Jesmon GX, it is game. If he's around for the second turn, they're probably dead, because if they can't get rid of it, you're gonna be attacking again, and you're gonna have at least 3 security checks. So he can be pretty scary. But that's pretty much it for this deck, guys. This is Kartaku. Make sure to use the affiliate links down below if you guys want to support the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll make sure to upload more frequently. I think I have my Sistermon deck next, but I also want to showcase my... There's actually a few decks I want to showcase, but I haven't had time to playtest some of them yet. So I'll be sure to do that once it is done. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!